everybody, and welcome back to the VALORANT Lock-In Tournament, where Loud has kicked off this series in dominant fashion, closing it out 13-5. And Doug, I gotta be honest, I think you look no further than the 4K out of Icebox in the pistol round for the final nail in the coffin for DRX. It was so quick, it was so clean, that it's deserving of our Verizon high-speed moment. Let's take a look at it now.
And yeah, let's be honest, that may have been the final nail in the coffin, but it really felt like the coffin was 6 feet under at that point.
Woo!
And they were just dropping the nail already. They just looked so good. It was a 9-3 half. It was not a 3-9 blessing. They were not able to convert it into something meaningful. And I think, honestly, part of me, I'll admit, part of me is a little disappointed with how DRX looked, right?
Yeah.
Because I expected more out of them. I expected more out of Buzz, and they just weren't there.
And here's the thing,
Right there with you.
they came in with something new, right? Like, they came out with a brand new composition. They copied Loud's comp. The prep was clear, but the game plan fell apart. And again, a big part of that was Icebox. He was great in the second half, but he was incredible in that first half.
Yeah, this guy just absolutely showed up in map number 1. I mean, dropping the 366 ACS, a 3.1 KDA.
It was like,
Absolutely nasty.
it may have been like 25-9 or something. After.
It was, whatever it was utterly disgusting what he was able to do. And yeah, Buzz just could not hold a candle to him there in that first map. And I have to wonder, is he going to be able to find some comfort, find his footing as we get ready to go over to Icebox? Because yes, that's going to be a lot more familiar territory as far as a map goes that you're going to be playing on, but it's still a very foreign crowd and foreign stage to be sitting on.
Yeah, I mean, look, end of the day, we do have to remember that this was, of course, Loud's map choice, and so they're going to feel good about getting that win. But for DRX, it's all full focus onto Icebox and how you're going to pivot from there. We take a look at how the match itself broke down overall. Again, just dominance across the board for Loud here, Mimi.
Yeah, it really was. DRX, the early rounds where we saw things were good. At the halftime, you talked about the reckonings and some of the site executes. It was clear they put in the preparation, but after that first contact, after Loud figured out that, hey, we just need to give this space and play into these retakes, DRX never really had a solution, whether it was triple flanking from behind or putting down utility, waiting for DRX to go long, and then clearing back site and dividing things up in these retakes. Loud was always winning them, and that's because this comp is built to win in these retake situations. The Harbor utility is just so good for it.
Now, and this is where I'll be honest, Achilles, I know hindsight is 20/20, but it was my major concern when I see DRX lock in the exact same composition that Loud has already had plenty of practice on in this map. They know how their own composition plays, and we kind of saw that on display as they dismantled them from the defensive side.
I mean, this goes back to what Mako said in one of the post-match interviews. It was, you know what, we like when teams play our comps because we know how to counter-strat it. But this is them falling into that very same trap. I think that Loud probably expected them to make some adjustments. I think maybe if they had just run that double controller comp that we were seeing from them previously, maybe this could be looking like a different result, but it's hard to say.
Yeah, but it wasn't that one of the asks that we had out of DRX. Do something different. Provide something new.
Sure.
And they did. So if they're able to provide something new and it still kind of falls flat on his face, where's the solution? Is it in Buzz? Is it in Stacks? Like, where is the spark?
I think the solution is in Stacks in the IGLing, because I think DRX thus far has shown this tournament that when their initial idea struggles, they are not the strongest team at making an adaptation, making a plan on the fly, and coming up with that. They're very good at the pre-prep, at coming out with the ideas early. But when that initial contact hits, we've seen in this game, we saw in their game versus Cloud9 where they got countered, where when they are countered, this team struggles to get back into games. And that kind of worries me for the rest of the series.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I love the swing, right? But it was a miss. And I think we can acknowledge that on map 1. And so, again, it's about how you recover and reassemble here for Icebox. And that's where I kind of want to turn our attention now, Achilles. Talk about this Icebox and what is available as an option for DRX to maybe turn the momentum of this series.
I mean, I think we're probably going to be saying a little bit more of the same stuff as far as the composition is concerned. It's more going to be about, do they change up their plant positions? Do they change up the way that they're utilizing utility to get themselves onto sites when they're on that attacking side? That's what I'm curious to see. They're going to be starting on defending side, so we'll get to see what the side of Loud wants to bring to the table. My biggest question now is, okay, we've seen DRX adapt Loud's composition there on Pearl. Did Loud adopt the DRX composition on Icebox?
I mean, it's an option. The thing is that DRX, speaking into this, it's confidence in their own game plan, because they have no idea what Loud is going to do. In history, the old team was great on this map, but we don't know how this new version of Loud will look.
Well, it won't be long until we find out what each of the teams are going to come to the table with as we jump into the Prime Gaming Agent Select. Look, here's the... I don't want to see matched compositions for the rest of the series at this point.
Let's see some differentiation.
I want to see. I just want to see, because I want like the idea of like a counterweight.
They're
you know,
going for it.
like
I mean, this is just touche of game one. You get your comp picked against you, you pick their comp against them.
The only difference is going to be Kawazine is coming out on that Sky. Zest is going to be sticking to the Sova, so they do have those flashes.
One major difference, and that's what I want to see.
Buzz has to execute.
Yes.
This is the map where, honestly, if you don't win this, there's a good chance you get 3-0'd. Buzz is your star on the Jet. You have to set him up, and I love that they're not changing comps and they're putting the trust in his hands, but Buzz has to deliver.
Also, with that Sky, it means you don't have that Sova drone to clear out offers, so Buzz has opportunity to go insane.
Yep, we're all set for our second map in this best of 5, and we're putting all the onus on Buzz to dig DRX back into the series as we hand it back over to Brennan Sideshow for the cast.
Let's get to it. Both teams raring to go, and so am I with this one because, you know, like the desk was alluding to, so much is now going to be on the shoulders of Buzz as an individual. Stepping it up, didn't have a great performance in that head-to-head versus Aspas. Really just got dismantled.
It was 8-0 on map 1 in the head-to-head, Aspas killing Buzz. But the desk is absolutely right. Without the Sova being there, without the drone being able to clear Buzz from angles, Buzz might be able to get more aggressive on the defense side. Is he hitting his shots? Is he confident enough to even go for it? And I think there's another layer to this too. Kawazine not having access to the Hunter's Fury should open up RB's ultimates a little too. So there are positives here to pull from. And like the Des was mentioning, it was DRX that had been playing this comp a lot. Whereas it's the first time we've seen Loud's Icebox.
That unknown quantity playing a part now as we get deeper into this best of 5. Moving forwards though, Loud not going to be dissuaded just yet. Wall's going to be used, but they're going to be claiming space and planting up top. Anything to try and disrupt this one doesn't look likely.
It's a different harbor wall compared to what we're going to see from DRX on their attack side. Unless, oh, he gets away with it there.
Yeah,
facing into 2 players, but not punished.
Very good information, even just manages to strike a little bit of a blow there, and damage done. Exchange of the bullets, the weaponry, even a snake bite up close, Sadak. Oh my goodness. Comes down to that 1v1, but he will eventually fall. Now, how does the play get made? Skipping a hop, Zest almost granted an opportunity to claim a kill. It's a deep push into screens though, and Loud doubled up. Taking scalps, taking names.
And they take the pistol. 2E's with it. Another great wall there, actually, that stops people from being able to get deep. I like that. You can see that 2E's has put time into his harbor. We already knew that based on what we've seen from him on Pearl. But here, looking comfortable too. DRX dead on the wrong end of another pistol round. Great play from these guys on site too. I think there's a real temptation once the flank is given up to just give up sight and go and fight super heavy behind you. But Loud decided to push forwards. Really nice reaction from Sadak with the call.
A 5-stack gamble play. Stacks, he did claim the orb. That was his goal. Pays for it with his life though.
He was going for those orbs all the time on Pearl. They constantly had reckonings online. And this is one of the first times where Loud's aggression has actually challenged and punished him. The spike is alone on Sadak here. Okay, the Loud guys are starting to come back.
Oh my.
But that's it dropped. There was a moment of danger, but I don't think DRX is going to be able to capitalize.
Still swinging wide. These classics are actually making quite short work of things. Still, Mako ended up taking a decent chunk of health away when he was trying to contest and fight that one. Now a close angle. Flash the right click over the top. How does he duck and weave and dodge this one? The answer is he doesn't. But it has got particularly dangerous, and RB now.
He's the leading clutcher of the tournament, but Les is watching for it.
Timing.
Oh, he turns away.
Turns away. And now will there be the double face? Not quite still. Significant damage going to be done. It's a bloodied Loud as they head into that bonus round. We'll see what they choose to do with the economy.
It's an uncomfortable decision that they have to make here. But there might be some low-level investment that still works. And as we've said, yeah, first time we've seen Loud on Icebox at lock-in. Loud have only been forced to show 3 maps up to this point. And they've been very clean, only dropping that single overtime Pearl against NRG. Yeah, it's actually still a pretty decent bonus round for Loud. They're going to be able to invest fairly heavily into this. And they're trying to apply pressure over towards B. So using the Cascade, and I think this makes a lot of sense. With that Cascade online, I don't think you need the Sova drone as much. Kawazine can rely on the Sky, which he's been playing at this tournament alongside Breach. We haven't seen any Sova from him.
does relieve that necessity of having the drone, like we were discussing, you know, to push players, oppers off that angle when they are just walled off like that. Now, there was an early approach here. You can see Aspas giving up a bit of that space. There was a deep flash now, but look, the reason why, B main control, slowly, steadily gained.
Interesting turret, isn't it? Gets posted while the high tide is up. And after this wall drops, it kind of controls the area. Or at least gives you good information if people are going to swing through the wall as to where they're coming from.
Oh, and they're moving up deep into position. Flash push forwards, Reckoning as well. Positioning known, and guess what? Laying claim to this one, less from the sidelines. Just creating moment after moment for his team. 4 players left up for Loud, and they do not feel like they're dissuaded, despite the fact that they had the weaker weapons. Still, there is that answer. Zest, good kill to find. Left down to that 3v3 now.
And this looks dangerous and very well planned out by Loud. Can the post plant hold on? It's not planted in a great spot.
Dash forwards though, cuts up the angle, and that's Sadak out in the open. 2 years, Sheriff shot does find itself. Kawazin, he's got the rifle, but it's not quite planted for him. The angle, half on the defuse. Zest sticky, but it does not matter. Absolute insanity.
And Loud looking immaculate again. The bonus round strategy is so nice. The way that they take B control and then lurk less up. And that's the value from the sky, is the flash through the wall, getting deep and allowing for that post plant. Cowanzine looking deadly in the clutch, and Buzz has his chance, right? That's the moment where you want Buzz to step up, win a round for his team, hold the momentum of Loud. And he falls again in a duel that you would normally expect him to win.
Updraft up top, that's to try and punish this. Aware that they're trying to grab these orbs.
And Buzz gets it. That's the Blade Storm. Can he be the difference maker?
It's all going to be broken. Sadak is aware of this, knows that there's a few players close, and space being gained. Buzz only to one before an instant answer back, but this crossfire, despite the weaker guns, despite the pistols, it is DRX who are making the most of this one now. What is the call? Aspas, kill claim, dashes back. Space still going to be vacuumed up.
And it's gorgeous. The way that Aspas's dash backwards plays 2Es into the angle. This does not look like a new team. These do not look like newer players. I know Sadak said that we're a new roster, you know, we have to prove ourselves again. But when you watch the teamwork of the newer players, Kawanzi and 2Es, they have been integrated so well into this squad. The fundamentals look, to me, just as good as they did with the old Loud squad. And maybe that means 2Es doesn't quite get as active in the round as somebody like Pankara or Mako, but it doesn't really make too much difference. So here we see it again, the cascade to take B long control. Buzz, his confidence certainly hasn't waned after Pearl.
And still, Seeker spots the target, Sadak moves forwards, where's the kill? Dash up top, kill still found right as he's evacuating. And he needed to be the difference maker, just cannot land that second shot.
He'll have another chance though.
Unrelenting is what it feels like when you're on the opposing side of this one. Loud, not willing to give anything up, and the spike was planted in the middle of all of that. Less now with the pit.
It's a
Drops
great
that
pit.
one down, yeah. This is going to really start to put that time pressure on DRX. What can they do with this? Off angle is magical. Not a player aware of it. 2v3, Buzz, what can you find? Zest in the pit. Gets the first obstacle down, but the angle's watched for. And it's just too much to do, isn't it? Tap of the spike, doubled up, decaying all the way down. One kill from the Tracers, but time far too low to make the most of it. And Josh, this map, we were talking about it, the desk was talking about it. It needed to be the time for DRX to strike back, to show that they had what it takes to really compete. And so far, it's not looking good for them.
I think it's a must-win. It's the first map in the series that DRX had a chance to pick, so it's up at the top of their pool as well. They've demonstrated how strong they are on Icebox against some of the other teams they've played. And also, once you get deeper, once you get to Split and Fracture, Loud have already showcased that they look incredibly scary there. If Loud can't get punished on a map they haven't even had to show so far, where can DRX even win?
Where is the limit? That's the big question.
And I think at the moment, Buzz is actually doing a fairly good job of applying some pressure, but the whole of DRX's defense is getting steamrolled by the pace that Loud are playing at. Here again, less up through tube. Looking to get aggressive. Now last time RB was the one that died early and opened the gap as the turret went down. This time Les bullies his way through and pulls RB back towards him for another cheap kill.
And he won't be dealt with. Pop flash play, Mako just so unaware.
I love this from Loud. And to think that they haven't even had to show Icebox so far in this tournament. And it looks this drilled. They're getting all of the benefits of the KO in terms of the flash through their wall. But they also have the reconnaissance of the dog too.
Rifle upgrade. But so much to do for Buzz. And Aspas, short work, isn't it?
6-0 lead for Loud on the second map after dismantling DRX 13-5 on Pearl. And it feels like they could still show us more unique strategies.
Yeah.
We've seen heavy B pressure. And I think the addition of the Harbor into these comps, playing Harbor Viper, makes it really difficult for Buzz to get aggressive. He's always got a cascade in his face. And it's not like any other wall where you can push through. You're getting slowed as you go through that. You're not favored. Trying to go for a classic jet play of poking yourself through a Viper wall, let's say, or an Omen smoke, getting one and dashing out. It just doesn't work as well against Harbor.
Can do it. It's designed to punish you in that aspect.
And so what I'd really like to see from DRX, strategically, is for Buzz to continue getting aggressive at B main with at least another person with him, or possibly fighting, you know, pushing pipes early in the round. But I still think it's going to be very hard for him to get value against that, because that Harbor wall is going to always be there.
Right up in his face, mitigating any sort of impact. And this is Loud, such a commanding lead. And you can feel it really building as well, just all the energy. Proud at their sides. You know, at times we were a little bit critical of Loud, you know, maybe overheating, trying to play to the crowd a little bit too much, but they spent the week, they've cooled down, tempered themselves. It's a cold fire that's burning right now, and that's what's being showcased. Loud determined to get one step closer.
So here's that interaction we were talking about. Buzz with his operator comes forward, and with the cascade, he's not quite sure where everybody is, but that is a perfect way to open the round. A first kill for Buzz.
Just, he's unrelenting, man. There's no time wasted. Skipping a hop, jumps up to the box, and he just rips away the opening that Buzz earned for his team. And Sadak, of course, there's no... Reckoning going to be used. Ultimate popped off. That's a bit of a spam kill that was found somewhere. Still, Sadak moves forwards, and they know where Zest's positioning is. The indicators are around still. RB's been doing the most, but Util in his hands, caught unaware. And 7-0 is such a commanding lead.
This looks impossible for DRX. In the lower bracket final at Champs, they were able to claw themselves back into a fifth map after going down 0-2. The team has demonstrated that they're not out of series this early, that they don't crumble instantly when they face adversity. And yet, today, I feel like what I'm witnessing is just Loud utterly outclassing them. Loud have a different strategy for every time there's a gun round, and DRX are left reeling. They can't even use the lessons of the prior losses.
To try and claw their way back into it. Orbs available, prioritized onto 2 years. Try and build up that reckoning. Now a dog clears the one side of it. Interesting cascade, but it is that weaker buy for DRX.
And Aspas just trying to get as aggressive as humanly possible.
And look at how deep they're pushing. I mean, the wall just gives them all the space into the back of Snowman.
New strat again.
Yep.
A new flavor to it, and DRX with poor weaponry this time.
It's constantly DRX who have to react to it.
And I love the flexibility that adding the harbor to this comp gives them.
High tide round the side. Sheriff in the hands of Mako. Makes the most of that one. Seekers, though, popped off. Pointing out a positioning precisely known. And it's less with 3. Wants the 4th. Will he get it? The answer is yes.
Loud are mixing in some safe rounds where they play a standard post plant on Icebox with a lot of these more aggressive looks. This time the wall allows them to take Snowman control. Previously they've been flashing through it and getting aggressive on people waiting to play the retake. There's always something different being thrown at DRX. And I mean, just look at the players, look at the coach. They're out of ideas.
Speechless. Best case scenario is going to be 4 rounds for DRX, but with the current momentum, the pace of which this game is being played, it just looks so unlikely. And look at that. All those orbs that were being prioritized the 2 years once more grants them all the space in the world to get a free plant, and less has been this consistent thorn in their sides.
That's nice, well done. Drone coming down mid from Zest. Looks back up tube and sets up for that kill, but they've taken Snowman control again.
Gobbled up crossfire. Mako's good to claim 1, but it's an immediate trade. Lockdown for a lockdown now. This is where things get scrappy. Moving across. It's Aspas! Still going to deal with him. Buzz does step up to the challenge. Lockdown going to be catching, and Sadak, well, out in the open. Buzz going to be able to stick this one without a care in the world, and there will be no silly business, no knives to be found, but eventually it is DRX able to claim that first round on the board.
Can DRX string this together into any form of momentum? This time, the ults being very important. But I also think that DRX had a nice idea there at driving a wedge in on the retake and separating one half of the post planners from the other. The crowd there genuinely looking disappointed that this wasn't a 12-0 half.
Yep, things you not be used to, honestly, but listen, when in Brazil.
A push down the tube here from Stax, following his cascade and a recon dart. Looking maybe to add a different flavor to this as Buzz finds another first kill. Things starting to go the way here of the Korean team.
But are the adaptations going to be enough? They've been left reeling is what it feels like. Still, flick of the wrist up top. That's the angle to try and watch for. Aspas really being pushed onto the common angle now. Top of the box, Mako. Vandal in his hand, doesn't want to spray. Snakebite at the floor though. Should keep him safe for but a moment. Now, though, it's going to get difficult as the smokes start to fade away and dissipate. Kawazine, Flash was waiting. No play off of it, but that's just spam. Aspas catching it. Zest is low. Stax does trade. But this is very quickly getting out of hands right now for DRX. One of the sole opportunities for them, but Stax, the wiggle with the movement, he makes himself an elusive target.
So well played by Stax, the trade, the anchoring,
wow,
and shuts things down with a 4K. A major round for team captain and IGL when DRX need it most. 4 rounds in this half is the bare minimum to get things back on track. For our podium team, bronze plays gold from champs, and right now you're seeing that gap between 3rd and 1st. But of course, Loud with those 2 changes, you expect a different result here. And instead it has been just as dominant. Stax looks to try and turn the ship. And Loud take a timeout to hold that momentum before it can go anywhere.
Angered the beast. There's that timeout being taken by Loud. Guys, what's going on? We dropped 2 rounds. Not going to get that 12-0 at the half that we were hunting for.
And Buzz has been able to find some value with the operator. He's actually working around the cascade very nicely. Even when he was on his own at B, found a first blood, able to drop back. And it seems like DRX want a hard anchor A, which I think is a nice adjustment too. If you end up playing back on A and playing retake or post-plant utility, what you end up finding is the harbor walls just lock you out. So I like the adjustments, but to me, Brendan, the problem is DRX are just adjusting way too late. Do you remember on Pearl where it was round 11 by the time they broke the alarm bot for the first time and really put pressure on Sadak's defensive holds? It feels the same here again. It's round 10, round 11 by the time DRX are figuring out what they need to do.
Making those adjustments. And that string of rounds by Loud, I mean, listen, they have kept the money up. It's practically pouring out of their pockets, being able to get buy after buy despite losing the back 2 rounds. There was an opportunity there. Buzz, I believe he spotted a body. Moves away. This is an angle that he has been playing, but Sadak, okay, a bit brave from him. Not expecting that angle to be watched for. Dog round the side. That's time to the cascade, so it can't be broken as easily. Clears away the 1-box. Tap of the plant.
Close.
Stray shot.
And it looks like Stax might want to challenge over at Snowman too.
This fight is about to be taking place at the back of Snowman. Feels like it's going to be important. Stax out in the open. RB does collapse from the side, but Kawazin felt like he was fully moving. Still claims the kill, and it's got the pit online. Danger time. Retaking with the operator, but how do you do it? Zest clears one of the obstacles out.
You could try pushing a Hunter's Fury in here and seeing if Buzz can follow it, but he's only one player.
Doesn't have the dash. Shock dart.
Seems better to just group up.
Tap onto the spike, forces the snake bite. 2 years moving forwards, and it's a flick of the wrist. Locks on. Down to Buzz, no time left. Decay gonna be building back up here. Half under the fuse, percentage play gets off of it. Re-smokes all the way. You gotta be joking. So calm in the moment. And Buzz, he silences the crowd.
And I think he's done a great job at silencing the doubters too. Horrendous performance for him individually on Pearl, but he has bounced back. His operator and that clutch being about the only thing that DRX have got working for them on Icebox. 12 and 9, stepping up to Aspas and providing one last lifeline for DRX to hold on to here. If they get the 4th and get the pistol, maybe they can make a map of this. The economy's still not challenged for Loud, of course, after 8-1 rounds in a row. But the adjustment has come, and so much of it has been based off Buzz.
Holding his corner. Is anybody going to be there to try and break this Trailblazer that's being used over and over again? Shot out of the sky.
But
Dash
the supporting high tide allows Buzz to get back up on the angle because he knows that they are going to struggle to get through there without that piece of utility. And like I said, the adjustments, they really are coming. It just takes it just takes DRX, my apologies, just a bit too long.
We'll see a pivot now from Loud. They've got a good ultimate to try and cleave their way into this site. The Seeker's online. Kawazin wants to lead it over Flash, is what it seems like. Now the Reckoning. Right into the back. Sadak not scared of taking this space. Even the fight as well wants to be the point of contact. Nanoswarm laid down on his feet, and DRX, no attempt from them to try and refight this one. They had plenty of ults to do so. But there's the Reckoning, used up close. Aspas forced to move. Hunter's Fury as well, spots them out. One tag onto Sadak. Will there be anything else? Kill found still. Loud, still alive. Aspas trying to take the fight to them.
What a great reset from Mako.
And yes, a reset. Viper's pit down, but brought down out of it. Reflanked by Yes, and Les just finalizes it. 9-3, familiar sights for Loud and DRX, dating back all the way to champs.
Exactly the same result from Pearl, the same level of dominance. And the first time we've seen Loud on Icebox. What can't this team do?
Just seem impossible, doesn't it? And unstoppable, if you're thinking about Loud. Absolutely fluid as the gameplay, great adaptations, but I'm curious, the first half done, let's send it down to the desk to find out more.
Thank you so much, Brand. It's another 9-3 first half, and it comes in our first look at Loud on Icebox. And Mimi, this team has just owned the B site for the entire first half of the game.
Yeah, and I had questions about how they were going to be able to play it with this composition without the Sova, but I think the executes they've had thus far with this Skydog, the way that they're playing that space has been really good. You see in this round initially they're providing some pressure towards A, but eventually pivot back towards the B site in the late rounds. They're able to use the Dog to take space back yellow, and then they use the Reckoning to push really deep. When DRX played this comp on attack, they very much had an emphasis on the A site, taking that with the Orb, where it's for Loud with the Sky in the mix. Their emphasis is a lot more on taking space on B, putting up their smokes, and then flashing through them and continuing to fight in their post plants, which adds a lot of complexity to the comp.
Now, we put a big spotlight, of course, on the Jet matchup in match number 1, but this is the guy I want to take a look at here, Les, for Loud.
He deserves the spotlight right now. Les has been performing out of his mind on the Viper. Mako's doing his damnedest to try to keep up with this guy, but Les is coming out here feeling a little under the weather, but deciding to persevere through that play here on the stage in front of the fans, and my God, is he delivering right now. Some of the clutches that he's been able to pull off, some of those plays, especially in those last couple rounds, have been absolutely immaculate, and you could not tell that he wasn't feeling 100% right now.
And now, Doug, there's no two ways around it. It's looking dire for DRX here. It's their map choice to go down 9-3. They were lucky to get 3 rounds, in fact, when they were looking at an 8-0. So what do you want to see on the second half?
Yeah, honestly, I think it could have easily been an 8-4. You think about that second to last round, the op going down, the Bulldog is invested in the next one because you can't financially handle it, and we're talking about an entirely different half, and that's really concerning that that's how it played out, because I don't know how much fight you have left in you. This was the map you had to win. Buzz should have unlocked that first half, and he wasn't able to. I'm very concerned.
It is still the map that they have to win, I do believe. We're diving right back into Icebox to see if DRX can get the victory. Back over to Brennan Sideshow.
This pistol round has everything on it for DRX. The desk highlighting just how important Icebox is to win for them. And look at that, even that 75% attacking round win rate at Icebox. Maybe the stats do back them up, but did the stats take into effect and account the fact that they're going up against Loud? I mean,
yeah,
it's a different beast entirely.
It really is. This pistol so important.
Aspas is disrespecting it.
That's
Look
insane.
at this, contacting through. Oh my goodness, ships in the night, and Aspas claims the kill. He heard the updraft, he knew the positioning was there.
There's so much confidence. It's outrageous confidence from Aspas, disrespecting every part of what DRX are doing. And now things are forced to go quiet as DRX reassess. Which areas of the map do they really control here? Practically nothing. RB is making a prod into A with his turret. It's unlikely anyone's pushed up because they've already seen Aspas. He's the most aggressive player on Loud.
Have to clear it though, look at that. Drone being used from a very far back position. We'll get that tag on Aspas, so space gained. Aspas looks like he wants to have another go at it.
This would be
behind this wall, there's a tard that doesn't even clear him.
This would be absurd. But the real play is happening in Tube and under Orange right now.
Yep, split play. So important, Les spots it out in that Viper head-to-head. That's Arbido from below, flash play.
He's back in.
That's in main, oh my word. And containment, it's the name of the game. Aspas, absolute gremlin just lurking around B main. And Mako, too much to do.
Loud with all 4 pistols secured. And you talk about containment, sure. Yeah, DRX are just getting stuffed in a box right now, but how do you contain this guy? How do you stop Aspas when he's getting a flash through a wall for him to repeat for the 3rd time in the round? And this is the problem when a player gets that level of confidence, when they feel like everything is working, suddenly they're going to disrespect your utility. Suddenly you're going to have to deal with them. And if you can't win those fights, if you can't preempt them and shut them down, Aspas is going to have 20 kills in 13 rounds.
20-8. For Aspas, I mean, a commanding scoreline, a commanding KD.
And I feel bad for Buzz because he's been playing all right this map, but he just can't hold on. He can't keep up. No one can.
Different high tide now. Separates a lot of the side, gives a bit of space to the defenders here, but I think the goal is to try and get that plant down. Util, though, stops that. Stacks!
Wow.
Oh, he tries to go up the rope, but Sadak was spamming it.
That's so good.
Hopes and dreams resting on these shoulders. Trying to hit these shots with the pistols, but Loud far too good. Never a missed opportunity. Never any signs of weakness so far in this series.
DRX not going for the force, just happy, allowing Loud to get up to that 11th round. And this, I mean, look at the score. 13-5 map 1, 11-3 lead for Loud map 2. They're not joking this. They look insane. And I want to cast people's minds back to the lower bracket final at Champions, where DRX met against, you know, the NRG core, then known as Optic. They lost 13-8, 13-5 on the first 2 maps, and they still pulled it to map 5. So it may still be too early to count DRX out of this. They might still make a match of it. But so far, this has just been a flattening.
Yeah. It's
a tier gap between these two teams.
It's just a dismantling. Loud have turned up here. The sole representative of the Americas left in the lock-in tournament in this top 4 between our teams. And oh my goodness, I mean, the representatives of the Pacific region just left absolutely scrambling. And so a timeout for DRX, the last one being used in this map.
And the DRX players were coming into this talking about revenge. We spoke to the owner of DRX as well. He was saying, oh, we're looking forward to it. That revenge match, redemption for us. And instead, it looks like the continuation of a rivalry where DRX are getting trodden on. And it's only going to fire them up into the future, I am sure. But for now, my God, how those players must be feeling. The fire they had coming into the game getting quashed.
Yeah. Loud in firm control. Drone to push them back, clears off that angle. But it is that high-low setup. It looks like at least Loud ready to take a fight if necessary. They have their weaker guns, weaker weapons. Still, Dart's going to be cleaned up, and they do respect that util. Must-win round for DRX. It's a little bit shaky. Spray downs there, shots being fired, and Zest is really just being caught out in the open, down to 48 health now. Spike will go down, though, in that 4v4, but the way Loud have been playing, anything could happen. They don't have rifles, but we'll see. Moving forwards now, waiting for the next wave of that utility.
These passive post plants really hurt DRX on Pearl.
Mako needs to spot this. A wide swing, Aspas, how do you win that? Way all the way through, good movement from Sadak. Still, he will get his head ripped straight off. Now Aspas, 18 health. And a dream. Not much more offered to him. And so DRX, another round claimed, puts them at 4. But it's a long road to try and pave their way to any sort of semblance of victory.
But the more they start getting onto the board here, the more they may turn me into a believer. You saw the stat earlier that they were winning 3/4 of their attacking rounds on this map. And the way that they load ult orbs onto their players will allow them good opportunities. This one is so crucial, though. Do you hear the crowd?
Yeah, that's booze for, what was that, a
for
watch
the watch
party?
party in Korea.
They can't even hear you.
These fans are making it personal. But DRX, this has to be a round for them. They need to punish Loud and send them into an eco. DRX are going to have big ults online. If Stax gets the orb or the plant, they can use that Reckoning to make it so much more difficult for Loud to retake.
So leading the charge, less common angle, the spam, it pushes Stax down onto the ground.
So much damage. That's through the cove as well.
And so, a suboptimal plant location for DRX to play this post plant. Buzz, Clawbass pushes them back. Will he survive? Yes, that's going to be a reckoning. Good timing on that one. It's a refight taken, Dart not being found, and they clean it up. Rifle spam, crossfire setup. Mako still alive, still kicking in the fight, 45 health. Dodging, weaving, ducking, comes down to this. And it comes down to 2 years. But even he can't quite manage those expectations, so DRX break the economy.
Gorgeous post plan by DRX. That's what you need to see from this squad. Getting the fire back underneath them and pushing Loud down to an eco. The crucial play there being that Stax has been generating these ultimates really quickly. He's got the spike on his shoulders, and the Reckoning comes through exactly as Loud want to go for the retake. And that means these players are uncomfortable. They can't stay in the same spot for very long. They can't trade for each other as easily or hold angles properly. It rips apart the retake, and DRX are using utility at the same time, like that recon you saw coming through.
Diligent play. Sort of a util combo there. They know that it's going to be Loud going for those ult orbs, just like DRX were when they were on their defensive side. But how do they get through this one? They've made it well known. Push coming through. Buzz receiving a friendly shock dart is what it feels like. Up top. Oh my goodness. Narrowly spots that one. Still a retake to be taken. Push all the way in, and Stax, he just doesn't even know what's happening. Into the cove. Got to be a recovery now for DRX, but this is looking so damn bad. Handed over the rifle. Sadak taps the spike. Right now baiting out of position. Moving forwards. The flash is good. Zes does claim it. Receiving his eyesight back into it. No more tap onto it. Sadak again trying to bait the swing, but RB shuts that one down. Unless he's got the energy up, wall going up, sticks it half. There's no way you can't get away with this. Dart pushes him back, but he's already done enough, surely. In between the legs, positioning known. Less hunting for the kill, but gives up on the round. Or does he?
No, he doesn't quite have this one. It's a, it's a nice idea, cute play. But DRX, they play it fairly safely, but at the same time, there was danger in that round, and Loud only had pistols. An investment of the Reckoning, though, from 2Es certainly makes things doable. A recon dart is lovely, even if it doesn't hit less, though. It's still good to be able to get Zest into a position where he can push the spike on the next tap. Still, though, I think we saw some really good things out of the retake there. Cow and Zine going for an aggressive flash play to create space for the rest of Loud to stick.
Yeah.
DRX are going to have their work cut out for them when Loud have rifles.
Which is right about now. Aspas, close angle, wider swing actually, damage is good. Drop down to 30 health.
Big punish.
Gotta respect that now, pushing all the way through. DRX have a timing, they have an opening. They don't want to let this one slip. That's gonna be util used to clear that path and get that plant down in the close corner.
And look how Stax saves the high tide for the post plan. That means that Loud have so much more space to go for an instant retake.
Hunter's Fury, just using his close. Still, how does Buzz fall there? Lockdown's going to be removed. Still, there's the danger. The danger is here, right in the pit. RB does not get cleaned up.
Oh, this is ridiculous. What a reposition from RB.
And what is going on here? What is occurring? How does the kill get found? Sprays down, position known, and just backs away at the perfect timing. Turning them into mincemeats. Re-swing. Don't let this get dangerous. Time ticking, which still afforded. Loud could play this one if they wanted to. At this point, as Aspas hunting for those kills, he knows economy's getting stretched, but still it should be him saving the rifle. He's going to go down with the spike.
Yeah, it's strange there actually, because Aspas isn't going to be able to save that into the next round. No operator online. Still, perhaps he wanted to use his Blade Storm. It's not going to be immensely damaging, that decision. I think the real one is RB's reposition. Just looks immaculate there. But I think looking from an overall strategic point of view, as Loud decide to take a timeout here, you're seeing DRX with a really different approach to a similar comp. Instead of using their high tide to make a lot of space for themselves on site, taking snowman control or getting through it to take the site, they save the high tide, plant inside the cove, and give themselves very little space to work with. Loud are on that retake within a couple of seconds. If you can wind your head back, wind your memories back to the first half, Loud were pushing DRX so far away before the post plan ever happened. And so when DRX retake, they have to look left, right, clear snowman, clear tube, clear top site. DRX are actually playing a much more claustrophobic game, and it's gonna give Loud opportunities. So far though, it is working, but DRX have had to burn a lot of ultimates to get to this point. They've used a Reckoning, they've used Hunter's Fury in the Viper's Pit. What they really need is Stax to get another Reckoning online by the time we hit round 20. And they also need to make sure that Aspas doesn't kill everyone with the Blade Storm, because the way that this guy's been playing, that is well within the realm of possibility.
In a normal match against most teams, when you see Loud, your opponents drop down to the weaker buys, you're thinking, okay, a bit of breathing room, but Loud have been able to make these half buys a bit more dangerous. Now we see an approach. It's an attempt to push away, and he sort of plays away from a main. Drone, what does it really see? Flash to try and as well hide information. Gets the tag though, and Aspas pushed up off of it. Tries to take the space back. Mako swinging wide. Top of pipes, a bit of spam, that'll do it. Kill found, and so the big pain point is going to be removed with Aspas falling. Buzz pure reactions. Flick of the wrist up into a common angle to just spam.
And that's great work. Stax is still 2 away. I'd like to see him hunt for this final kill, to be honest. His is the most important ult to get online for the next round. But even so, it's possible that with an ult orb and a plant, they'll have that still to play with.
Oh, the spam.
Almost.
Moving across. Great reactions from Buzz to contain that.
As a prime game in Flawless, that round could have got dangerous, but they neutralized Aspas, the big threat, very nicely. 2 players facing at the same time, and Aspas missed a couple of shots. The difficult ones for sure, really difficult ones. But sometimes a player of his caliber might still be able to grab him. If DRX win the next round, I'm believing in the comeback. Their attack siders look strong. The way that they're manipulating the ults is fantastic too. I think there might be a way that they can get into this round with a lockdown and then play Reckoning post-plan. But there is going to be a massive clash here on B.
Oh, Aspas, you've got to be joking. The balls to push up, make a play like that. He's tagged up though. Up draft, there was a punish attempt by Buzz. And he used a ton of his own util just to maneuver his way around that one and potentially collect that kill. Still moves forwards, now dashes up. Watch for, double up. RB moves around, blind, but to the angle, and he is fully blinded up. Swinging around, coverage is there. And it is just that hammer strike, one after another.
Kawanzi in Sky looks so phenomenal, man. Utilizing both of those flashes, knowing that the first isn't good enough, relieving the pressure. I mean, he just looks immaculate in these positions. Such a phenomenal pickup. I think DRX rushed that though. Once they had control of B and they pushed Buzz back, and they pushed Aspas back, RB had the perfect time to go for a lockdown. You stick a lockdown there and you wait, you apply so much pressure to Loud. And instead they just ran into the maw.
And it has set Loud up. Map point for them. And the margin for error that is allowed for a team like DRX, no longer available. Lockdown going to be used up close though. This is punishable if they have util for it, but instead it's just going to be a pit.
I don't know how Les is going to stay in sight here. He's going to have to evacuate his pit. Is he just going to allow himself to get detained?
Yeah, apparently. Wants to keep it up. Obviously the Viper nerfs, meaning he has to maintain that. Dash has to be used. Disengaged by Buzz.
And no punish on Les.
No punish at all. It's backup remaining. Spam.
It's dangerous from Stax. If Stax falls here, they lose their big ult for the post plant.
Cove just barely keeps him alive, and here's the flank from Aspas. And what an answer. Shots landing. Warbank damage, and they are weak, missing the second one. Everyone falling low, but Buzz, he answers for it, but Loud, moments away now. It's a 3v2, and it's just over like that.
This retake style looks incredible from Loud. The aggression coming out from Aspas and Kawanzi. Pushing forwards, making space for one of their team to get on the defuse. The Brazilian retake looks so good. And the crowd are pumped. Loud are one map away from being able to get themselves in a position where they could be our first ever team to lift 2 trophies, and back to back at that.
That's what they're fighting for. And honestly, the attempt from DRX to try and bring it back, it was good. Adjustments were made, ever so too late though.
And DRX find themselves in a position where, once again, exactly the same as that lower bracket final against Optic at Champs, they lose a map 13-8, 13-5 and head into the third. That time it went to 5. Could we see the same? It looks almost impossible, but they've done it before.
The crowd battling against DRX. It's that extra element that maybe they didn't think about, but we'll find out soon enough on the other side of this just how this series will conclude.
Red Bull gives you wings. Red Bull gives you wings.